The Act, there has been a nationwide protest by Dalit organizations across the length and breadth of the country. Now, this protest has turned violent in many parts of the country. There were trains that were stopped. There were buses that were burnt, cars that were vandalized. There were people who took to the streets in different parts of the country, forcing shopkeepers to put down their shutters, forcing business to stop, forcing traffic to stall. There has been vandalism, there has been arson, there have been cases reported, especially from Madhya Pradesh, where 4 persons have lost their lives, several persons have been injured, several police personnel have been injured. Ministry of Home Affairs has left nothing to chance. Additional forces have been rushed to the states of Uttar Pradesh mainly. Forces have also been rushed to Madhya Pradesh and parts of Punjab. This is, of course, the latest information that we have. Now, what exactly transpired? What did the Supreme Court say? What does the dilution of this particular Prevention of Atrocities Act against SC/STs actually mean, and what is this protest all about? Our details that we will be breaking down for you on the broadcast. Connect with us on Twitter, Facebook and WhatsApp. Tell us what you think about the Supreme Court's big decision. Now, I want to, before I talk about the politics of this issue, I want to quickly play out for our viewers what has transpired in the last 10 hours in the country, how these protests have held the nation to hostage. Let's quickly take a look at some ground reports.
You can clearly see behind me, they are marching towards Parliament Street and they want to go to Parliament, and this call has been, this specific bandh has been called by various Dalit organizations who are protesting against diluting of the SC/ST Act. You can clearly see various people have joined in, and as of now, the central Delhi is completely choked.
Life has completely been brought to a standstill, not only in Patna but various other parts of the state. Apparently, trains have been stopped, and these are the banners that have come up in various places across Patna. These people, they are protesting against any changes that have been made to the SC/ST Atrocity Act 1989.
So this is some of the ground reports that have come in through the course of the day. Remember, protests have turned violent. 4 persons have lost their lives in this particular protest. But the centre now, on its part, has filed a review petition in the Supreme Court challenging the dilution of the Prevention of Atrocities Act against the SC/STs. What exactly has the centre said in that review petition? Let's listen in to what Ravi Shankar Prasad had to say.
ये जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्णय आया है, बड़े आदर के साथ हम कहना चाहते हैं, उस निर्णय के निष्कर्ष से और उस निर्णय के तर्कों से हम असहमत हैं। तो सरकार की ओर से एक रिव्यू फाइल किया गया है। सरकार खुद भी पार्टी नहीं थी, और हमारी पूरी कोशिश होगी कि इस रिव्यू पर विस्तार से चर्चा सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हो।
All right, so what exactly has the Supreme Court said? What exactly has the Supreme Court done that has caused so much anger among the Dalits in the country? We will be closely examining some of those things that the court has said. We will also be looking at what the crime data is as far as crime against SC/STs are concerned, and whether the Supreme Court is really standing on strong statistical ground to be actually diluting that. Whether or not the court will in fact look at that review petition just yet is, of course, a question that remains to be answered. Remember, the Supreme Court has dismissed the urgent hearing in the matter, said that there is no urgency to look into this. Before I introduce my guests on the broadcast, I also just want to quickly tell our viewers that as far as the National Crime Records is concerned, there has been a 5.5 increase in crime against scheduled castes from 2016 and a 4.7% increase in crimes against the scheduled tribes in 2015. This is just to put some of those things into perspective. Also, the conviction rate as far as SC/STs is concerned has been 15.4%. Madhaw, Anand, Dalit activist, is with us in the studio. You're obviously going to corroborate some of those figures for us as well. But your first reaction to what the Supreme Court has in fact, said, and why is it that it has anguished so many people? Because what it appears is that it's not a complete dilution. It's not like the law has been taken away. It is just certain problematic provisions that have been addressed.
See, after the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, there has been, that means, apprehension among the Dalit community that their pride has been hijacked.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a real concern. Honestly, I'm telling you, and we are also very much concerned. We are the part of NDA government. I'm representing Rashtriya Lok Samata Party and headed by Sri Upendra Kushwaha, who is also a Minister of State for HRD in the central government. So we have also written to the Honorable Prime Minister to file a review petition in the Supreme Court. And this NDA government is very much serious. Is very much serious about the Dalit Samudaya and Dalit community.
Yes.
So Prime Minister has accepted the request and he has advised the concerned ministry to file a review petition. And today we understand that the government of India has already filed a review petition in the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court has accepted the review petition, but they say that means it's not urgent, so they will, that means, give it date.
Okay. No, but the Supreme Court in its part has also said that this law has been misused to, quote unquote, to wreak personal havoc, personal vengeance, I beg your pardon, and it has been a law that has been misused to promote vested interests. These are some of the things that the Supreme Court has said. They've cited, a couple of 100 cases in which people have been falsely accused, implicated, and the provisions of the Act, like I said, have only been diluted. They haven't been taken away. So is it, the fact that there are these widespread protests that are taking place, is it because perhaps there is a lack of understanding of what the Supreme Court has said at this point in time? Or is it that people are fully aware of what the court has said and completely disagree with what the court has said, and therefore we are seeing, look at the visuals you're seeing on your screens there. I mean, it's been havoc across the length and breadth of the country today.
See, Supreme Court has, that means, amended 3 laws under the SC/ST Act. First is the accused can apply for the anticipatory bail. Am I right?
Yes.
And second is accused cannot be arrested immediately.
Yes.
Okay. And if accused can be arrested, then there should be prior approval of the superintendent of police or the supervisor or the manager, whoever.
Yes.
So there are 3 concerns.
In case of a public servant and in case of a private citizen.
So in each and every law, there is a pros and cons, that means.
Yes.
But under the SC/ST Act, it's a very important, we should preserve the right of SC/ST Act. Because we are fighting for the SC/ST Act. For the entire Dalit community, and still in the Indian democracy, that means they are still, that means, far behind the development. Although the NDA government is trying very hard to develop.
But what do you make of the fact that it's been misused? That's something that you're not talking about at all. The Supreme Court is looking at it from both points.
That's I'm telling you, there is an apprehension. There is an apprehension among the Dalit community. The government is very much serious. The government has already filed a review petition in the Supreme Court, and government is very much confident that the Supreme Court will hear the voice of the central government.
Okay.
The NDA government.
Before I introduce my other guests on the broadcast this evening, I just want to put something in perspective for our viewers. What exactly has the Supreme Court said? There are 3 things that the Supreme Court has basically said: that the law is being misused to wreak personal vengeance, and it is being misused for vested interests. The Supreme Court is further, in the March 20th directive, said that coercive action against one public servant accused of hostility against lower caste can only be taken with the written permission of a higher authority, and in case of private citizens, that action can only be taken with the consent of the superintendent of police. So an immediate arrest can no longer be made. The second thing that the Supreme Court has said, importantly, is that there was no complete law against granting anticipatory bail. So if there is no prima facie case, or if it appears that a case has been filed and the intention behind filing that case is in fact malified, in that case anticipatory bail can be given. The court has further said that false complaints have been made to implicate innocent people, promote and perpetuate casteism. These are the chief arguments that the court has in fact put forward. I don't think any of these arguments are unreasonable. What is happening is a dilution of some of the most stringent provisions of the law into slightly more reasonable ones. That's all that's happened.
So anyway, that's absolutely right. Court has given their verdict, and they have, that means, their own, that means, views. But the responsibility of the central government is also there. That means they should also explain to the court, that means, what is the importance of each and every clause. What we have discussed for all 3 clauses.
So now the onus is on the centre to put forth those explanations. Sanju Verma of the BJP is joining us on the broadcast from Mumbai. Prerna Singh of the Congress is also joining us from Delhi. Sanju Verma, I want to come to you first. The centre has filed a review petition. Many are arguing that why didn't the centre put forth arguments in the case better in the first place, so that we wouldn't have, we wouldn't have come to the place that we have come to today. What do you make of the opposition's charge against you?
For the benefit of your audience, let me categorically put out a key fact that has skipped the attention of most media persons and television channels. The fact remains that in 2016, under the aegis of the Narendra Modi government, a special task force was set up under the aegis of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And mind you, that task force notified certain provisions to ensure that the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act actually becomes more beneficial for the underprivileged and downtrodden belonging to the Dalit community. A, it said let there be special courts for execution of speedy justice. B, it included newer offences. C, it said that there should be special prosecutors dedicated to these kind of violations which fall under the purview of this act. And 4, it said that if a public servant is found indulging in dereliction of duty when it comes to handling cases pertaining to atrocities on Dalits, then stringent action will be taken as per the provisions of the amended act against such public servants. So the Modi government in 2016 actually had a task force which was out there to make the SC/ST prevention.
Okay, we seem to be having some audio trouble with you. I want to go across to Prerna Singh of the Congress at this point in time. The NDA government, you heard what the BJP spokesperson just had to say. She says that the NDA government has put out a task force. They're serious, about the protection of rights of Dalits. What we're then seeing happen today, is a repercussion to, of course, what the Supreme Court has said. The centre has covered its tracks. They filed a review petition in time. They've even asked for an urgent hearing, which, of course, the court hasn't granted them currently. What then is your bone of contention with the centre?
See, I was very patiently hearing what my friend from NDA was just telling. However, I am very sorry to say that I do not believe in what he was saying, nor do the people of this country. Because there are some very shocking facts which I'm just going to reveal on your show. Maharashtra government, which is BJP's government, was one of the parties in the case. They did not present their case in the court. Another fact is, Attorney General of India was issued a notice. However, surprisingly, neither the Attorney General nor the Solicitor General of India was present during the hearing of this case.
So you're saying that the centre has not been serious? Are you then saying that the centre has not been serious in its pursuit of the case?
Yes, and in a very planned way, this entire thing was done. And centre is solely responsible for this decision.
Sanju Verma, you want to respond to that? There's been a charge. Sanju Verma, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so there has been a charge that's been leveled. There's been a charge that's been leveled by the Congress spokesperson on the panel, which clearly goes to say that your Maharashtra government wasn't serious. The Attorney General, Solicitor General not present at the hearing. They're accusing you of not being serious in your pursuit of this particular case. Respond to that charge.
The Congress spokesperson is ignorant, but I will let that pass. Because, as the leader, so are the followers. As for, she claiming that the people don't take us seriously, well, let me tell her that the highest percentage of Dalits, close to, more than 21%
is the people of this country. You are being ignorant. Your party is being ignorant.
Okay, one second. Prerna Singh, hold on. 1 second. You made 1 second. I will have to put both faders down. I'm sorry. You cannot speak one over the other. I will have to put both faders down. Prerna Singh, one second. Prerna Singh, you have to let Sanju Verma respond, and I will give you a chance to speak.
Seats in Uttar Pradesh. You manage 7 seats in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, answer the question. Sanju Verma.
Apna Dal got 9 seats.
Sanju Verma, I urge you to answer the question.
To this question, believe you.
Sanju Verma, I urge you.
Booted out.
I urge you to answer the question.
Booted out again in the Lok Sabha.
Sanju Verma, answer the question.
You will be down by 44 people dying.
I'm going to have to ask my producer to put the faders down. I will not have this conversation be held hostage to a Congress versus BJP debate where both are speaking over each other and we can't make sense of anything. Go ahead, Madhaw.
The decision which Supreme Court has given, the case related to Subhash Chandra Mahajan case, which verdict came on 20th March. And at that time, central government was not a party.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Now that means since the Supreme Court has given the verdict and dilute the entire SC/ST Act, now the NDA government, the current government is very much serious. The government has filed a review petition. And as I told you earlier, I am very much hopeful the Honorable Supreme Court will listen and hear the argument of the
You've been hopeful of the NDA government coming to the rescue of what has happened in the Supreme Court. But I want to ask you a whole different question. Look at these visuals on your screen.
That is very unfortunate.
Do you think,
that is very unfortunate.
Don't you think that the Dalits in this country, whatever may be the cause that they are fighting for, have lost the moral ground to do so? Look at these visuals
That is very unfortunate.
This is holding innocent people
I agree with you.
holding the country
in the Indian democracy, there is no role of violence. Everybody has right to do protest, but in a peaceful manner. If anyone is doing violence, that is not acceptable.
So you're
we
saying
condemn
the
this
violence
activity.
is not acceptable. I want to bring in both the Congress and the BJP spokespersons here, and I urge you both to please not speak over one another. I will give both of you a chance to respond. One second. Sanju Verma, I want to ask you a very simple question. I will not have this discussion be held hostage to a Congress versus BJP fight. You've seen the visuals we put out on our screens. Unfortunate stories. 4 deaths have been reported. Vandalism, arson has been reported. Do you think the Dalits in this country have lost the moral high ground to protest? Look at what they've done through the course of the day. Sanju Verma.
I think that's a very interesting question. You know, I tweeted about this a couple of hours back. I don't think the Dalits have lost the moral high ground. I'm sorry to say, despite being a politician, there has been a hijacking of this entire Dalit movement by vested interests, and I will go in as far as saying that it is the parties like Congress, the Bahujan Samaj Party, which I hold culpable, and I'll tell you why. Do you remember June 2017 when the farmer riots happened in Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh? And we know now it is in public domain. Who were the people behind these riots? It was not farmers who were indulging
so that's an interesting perspective.
Rahul Gandhi and his cohorts like Shyam Gujjar, B.P. Dhakar, Jeetu Patwari.
I don't want to talk about the farmer protest now, but that's an interesting point. All right, you've made your point. Sanju Verma, you've made your point. I want to get Prerna Singh to respond to that. Prerna Singh, the BJP is alleging that this is not just the Dalits who've taken to the streets, but the vandalism and arson, the unfortunate incidents of vandalism and arson that we've seen take place through the length and breadth of the country today have been politically motivated. Respond to that charge.
See, any kind of violence is unfortunate, and this should not have happened. However, I would like to ask the BJP spokesperson that this bandh on 2nd of April was announced much before. Why did not any of their spokesperson or any responsible person from the party come out and told these people that listen, we are there for you, government will fight for your rights.
Sanju Verma, let her speak.
They waited they waited for 5 people to die. It took death of 5 people for Ravi Shankar Prasad to come out and speak against this. This is not right. People of India are understanding the intention of this government. Why could not they forecast this violence much before? They could have forecasted this.
You've rigged up the law and order question. I will ask that law and order question as well, but I want to quickly go across to the digital desk. I want to look at what... Okay, you made your point. I want to go across to the digital desk and let's see what viewers have had to say. Remember, Dalits is an emotive issue. It's an important vote bank. It's a politically sensitive issue, and it does work to the advantage of more than one political outfit in the country to keep that pot boiling. But what exactly has happened today has been unfortunate incidents of vandalism, of arson, of the country being held hostage in the bargain. Let's listen to what viewers have had to say.
Well, Rishika, is a very important issue for the country today. Let's see what people have to say on Twitter. Subhash says that what an irony. The so-called community protesting to bring back a law by breaking into the laws. While Gaurav has to say this is the best way to put pressure on the government and to get whatever you want in the country. A comment from Signa. She says, violence is the easiest answer to all problems in this country, it seems. Do lives of lower caste needs to be better? Yes. But is violence the only answer? Absolutely not.
Okay.
While a comment from Dumi, he says 6 people have lost their lives. What is the government doing at present?
Okay, so there are interesting questions, law and order questions that are being asked of the government. And Madhaw, Anand, I want to come back to the point that we are making, because one of our viewers has made a comment which says, how do you propose to be breaking the law and then expecting to draw the attention of a nation to bring back a law? I think that's the irony of that, isn't that? And I know you've come out and you've said that, you know, it's unfortunate what has happened and it shouldn't have happened in that way. But what do you make of the fact that there is a charge that is being leveled here by the BJP, which goes on to say that all of these protests are politically motivated? The fact that more than one political outfit has a stake in supporting the Dalits.
And as I told you, this is very sensitive issues, and in Indian democracy, everybody has right to do protest.
Yes.
But it should be peaceful protest.
Okay.
There should be no violence.
Okay.
That means.
Okay.
So as far as the Dalit community is concerned, they have full right to do process. And honestly, I'm telling you, NDA government is very much serious. As I told you several times during the discussion, NDA government is very much serious. They have filed a review petition.
But what do you make of the fact that there have been other political outfits? There has been Mamata Banerjee, there has been Arvind Kejriwal,
Whoever.
there has been Tejaswini Yadav. No, one second. There have. So I've talked about the AAP, I've talked about the TMC, I've talked about RJD.
Yeah.
All of these, SP, BSP, Mayawati, everybody has come out, including, of course, the Congress party, and expressed their support and solidarity with these protesters. Nobody, not one political outfit has condemned the violence that has taken place.
There is no harm in protesting. That means there is no harm. Even we have supported.
Okay.
We are the part of the NDA government, and Rashtriya Lok Samata Party, Sri Upendra Kushwaha, he is the minister. He has written to Prime Minister to file a review petition. Even that means Ram Vilas Paswan, he is the cabinet minister. He has also requested the Honorable Prime Minister. So what is the harm? That means if moral support is there with the Dalit community, even BJP is supporting the Dalit community.
Yes.
So there is no harm. That's
so you're saying that these protests are not politically motivated?
No. What I'm saying, if any party wants to take a political mileage, then it's wrong. If supporting, that means in a peaceful manner, if anybody is doing a procession or a protest, that's a fine.
Okay, Sanju Verma wants to come in. Go ahead, make your point.
I want to come in, please.
Yes, Sanju Verma, go ahead.
You know, I wanted to tell one very clear thing which should not get lost in the din. Let's not miss the woods for the trees. I think, you know, the Congress cannot even tell me one game-changing thing that they did in post-independent India in the last 60 or 70 odd years. And I'll tell you one game-changing move that will transform the lives of Dalits in this country.
There are many, Sanju Verma. This discussion is not about what Congress has done in the last
1 second, Prerna Singh, let her finish.
What you have done in the last 4 years for the Dalits.
1 second, Prerna Singh, let her finish. I will come back to you.
Yojana, 10 crore people have availed loans, out of which 40% have gone to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. 4 crore people have actually benefited from the Mudra Yojana. Point number 1. Point number 2. You know, Dalit empowerment is also about sending the right signals.
Right.
Please understand, it was in 1975 that Indira Gandhi visited Chaitya Bhumi, the place where Baba Saheb Ambedkar was cremated after his death. It was after 30 years, 30 plus years in 2015, it took a Narendra Modi to go and pay homage to Baba Saheb Ambedkar and dedicate a memorial to a man who was given Bharat Ratna by the Congress.
Okay, so you're saying, no, 1 second, you're saying, okay, you made your point, Sanju Verma. I want to get Prerna Singh to respond to that. Sanju Verma, you made your point, Prerna Singh, respond to that.
Every 12 minutes, every 12 minutes a crime is committed on one scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in this country. The date, according to the NCRB data, there has been 5% increase in the reported crime.
Yes.
I'm sure there are many cases which goes unreported.
Right.
2 days back, a Dalit man was killed in Gujarat for keeping a horse.
Okay.
Not even a single day goes where we don't hear
Okay,
a
make
report
your
where
point.
a Dalit is abused.
Make your point.
So what
Yes.
kind of things is she talking about?
Okay.
Narendra Modi, one more point. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of this country, is known for doing the Man Ki Baat. Why could he not come after the judgment and tell the Dalits that, look, I am here for you, we will fight for your rights.
Okay.
This would have not happened
So,
today if Prime Minister would have done that 3 days back.
Sanju Verma, I want to get
Why
you
did
to
he wait
respond.
for 5
Fine.
people to
Okay,
die
Prerna Singh,
and
you
then
made your
come
point.
out
Sanju
and
Verma,
still-
I have a question
still
for you.
Prime Minister has not
Sanju
uttered
Verma,
a word
one
against-
second, Prerna Singh. Sanju Verma, I have a question for you. It was on March 20th. Sanju Verma, I have a question for you. 1 second. I have a question for you. If you allow me to speak, only then can we have a sensible discussion about this. On the 20th of March, Sanju Verma, is when the Supreme Court directive had come out. Why is it that your government has waited for this countrywide protest, for the death of 4 people, several people being injured, half our nation being held hostage at the kind of protest that we've seen happen through the course of the day, for your government to file the review petition? Why couldn't you have done it earlier?
You know, I'm glad you asked me this.
Yes.
Let me clearly say it is the government's prerogative. You and me do not decide or encroach upon the executive and legislative authority and domain of the government.
Okay.
The fact is, if the Supreme Court came out with an order on 20th March and the government has already swung into action, I think that is absolutely.
But why did the government have to
rather
wait?
than
Why did the government have to
you
wait
should
for...
actually be
No.
applauding
Why
us
did
for
the
fact
government have
that
to
we
wait
walked the talk.
for widespread protests to take place in the manner that they have through the course of the day today? Why is it that there had to be a Bharat Bandh? Why is it that 4 people had to lose their lives in order for the government to inspire some confidence and listen to what the Dalit protesters had to say? Unfortunately, that's not an answer that I've been able to get from any of our panelists. But a big thank you to all my guests who've joined me on the broadcast. Also a big thank you to all the viewers who've connected with us on the broadcast. This is an issue that is going to continue to grab headlines. And we, of course, will continue to track all developments on it. Slipping into a very short break, news and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
भाई साहब, हाँ जी, जल्दी से हाइस्टी बुलवाइए, गर्मी बहुत है।
एक अदरक चाय लाना, गर्मा गर्म।
हैं? गर्मी पे गर्मा गर्म चाय? आपका ह्यूमर का सेंस भी ना।
ये लीजिए।
जरा चाय के साथ पकौड़े भी हो जाए तो थोड़ी